Okay, this is the first Big East Time podcast. I'll give my opinions of what we've seen so far in Week 1, and a bit of a season preview of what I expect going forward. It should be part 1 in a 3-part season preview, Week 1 Big East review. It's after Week 1, we've seen some good matchups early on with the Gavitt Games this week. Something to actually base the conference on. Watching Nova shoot Lafayette out of the gym is always fun, but doesn't give us much to base off of for the rest of the season. So we'll do a breakdown of what we saw from these teams so far. I was going to do a preseason ranking, but mine went on matching pretty well with the coaches preseason poll, which had Villanova, Seton Hall, Xavier, Providence, and Creighton, St. John's, Marquette, Butler, Georgetown, DePaul. And they could see the different swaps here and there. Xavier could easily finish second. Creighton and St. John's, I feel what we've seen from them, they could force their way into that top 4. Kind of what people see as that tier 1. Villanova, Seton Hall, Xavier, Providence. Personally, I see it more like a big 3 on top with Villanova, Seton Hall, and Xavier. Plenty of potential mix in the middle. Providence, Creighton, St. John's, Marquette, and of course Butler. Butler's a team that always seems to get slept on. Last year they were picked to finish 6th in the preseason poll. They wound up finishing 2nd. Of course, they swept Villanova. And, right now they're just sitting there at 8th. Lost some talent, but Butler way. So we'll get started. Nova at the top. I think there's no reason they shouldn't repeat again in this conference. With this new Big East, it's been all Villanova. Of course, with the national championship. They haven't won every conference tournament, but they've been the regular season. They've been the number 1 team. Of course, they lost, losing Josh Hart, first round pick, last pick of the first round, still counts. National Player of the Year candidate. Felt like he bailed them out a lot last year. So it'd be tough losing him. I think he single-handedly beat Notre Dame last year in Newark. They lost, of course, the hero of the national championship game. We've heard that enough times. Chris Jenkins struggled a bit last year. Didn't have a great senior year, but he's playing in the D-League right now. Of course, good luck to him. And then Darrell Reynolds was the big man, senior leader. But, they're looking bright this year. They get Omari Spellman back after he was deemed ineligible. Not great reasoning from the NCAA, but, usually expect that. Great reasoning from the NCAA. So he's back. They also bring in 3 freshmen and look like they should be ready to contribute right away. And Colin Gillespie, Demir Cosby-Roundtree, and Jermaine Samuels. And Gillespie's certainly looked great so far, I think, for a freshman. Jay definitely seems to trust him. I think he's been I think he especially looks like ready to contribute as a freshman. And I think Cosby-Roundtree has looked promising. Mobile big. Switch on to guards, switching, big part of Jay Wright's defense. And Jermaine Samuels also looks promising. He's had some early, freshman jitters, I think, but as the season goes by, I think he could be good. Kind of that Josh Hart mold. For the returners, it starts with Brunson, arguably the best point guard in the country this year, one of the best players in the country. Preseason Big East Player of the Year. I think he'll be big to replace Hart, as well as Dante DiVincenzo and Mikal Bridges and the improvements they make this year. And Dante was great towards the end of last year. I think Bridges is ready to take that next step, and he's shown it so far this year. He's been great, and he's a guy that could be a first-round pick this year in the draft, and he's got it. But he's got all the tools. I think he really put it together this year and have a great season. Phil Booth returns after he was hurt all last year. He had that 20 points in the national championship game. He was great as a freshman. I think the injury hampered him a bit sophomore year, and of course he missed all last year. But he's back as an academic senior. He'll be a leader, another ball handler, and help replace Hart and what Hart and Jenkins gave them on the wings. I think Spellman is going to be huge. New dimension inside that they definitely didn't have last year. Reynolds was more of a screener, rebounder than than a real post presence that Spellman can be. He also can step out, shoot the three. He's fitting great so far. And so I think they could be better than they were last year. I think even next year could be even better. So I think they're still trending up. Of course, losing the All-American Josh Hart won't be easy. I mean, the number 2 team in the coaches' preseason poll is Seton Hall. I think this is their year. They have their big 3 seniors in Delgado, Carrington, and Desi Rodriguez. After Delgado almost went to the NBA draft last year. It was a bit of a scare, but he's back. And he's one of the best players in the country. He led the nation in rebounding last year. He's a double machine. And these 3 guys are seniors now. This is, I think, what a lot of us have been waiting for these 3 guys to really take off. They look good. I mean, they look great as freshmen, and they've made 3 guys that have improved a lot. And they also have, of course, Sonogo is also a senior, one of the better glue guys, I think, in the conference. And same with Michael Enzies, another great glue guy. I'm waiting for these guys to really take over, be the leaders of a potentially great team. Since they were, of course, freshmen on the Sterling Gibbs-led Seton Hall Pirates. I mean, the only thing that I question with this team is a lack of a true point guard. And, with the exception of Isaiah Whitehead, they haven't had great point play in recent memory, which is a little scary. Carrington could pull up the point guard role well enough. Miles Powell has looked great early on. Looked like he'll make a big jump in his sophomore year, but he's not exactly a point guard either. And then their big freshman has been Miles Cale so far. He's looked great, ready to contribute on the wing. He's definitely an athlete and can shoot the 3. I think he's going to be good for them this year. So there's a lot of talent at Seton Hall. And then at number 3, we got Xavier. I think it got to start with Trayvon Blewett, who's been awesome so far. Averaging 25 points a game on 54% from 3. So he's been just about automatic. He had the huge 3s late to beat Wisconsin. He's been great. He was great at the tournament last year, and it's carried over. He's playing with a mean streak right now. That's made Xavier look dangerous early on. The other seniors got Makura and Sean O'Mara. O'Mara gives you that post threat. Makura, of course, brings the little toughness. Great shooter as well. Great rebounder for his size. Very good senior class for Xavier. The rest of the upperclassmen rotation, you got Kaiser Gates, you got Gooden, and Tyreek Jones. I think Jones is going to be a huge key for them. He's looked great early on, and he could definitely get them some toughness inside. He's definitely, I think, made a noticeable improvement from last year. He got better as his freshman year went on last year, and it's definitely carried over this year. And I think very similar to Nova, they have a trio of freshmen ready to contribute, and Marshall, Scruggs, and Harden. I think that's really your top 3. I don't want to put Providence there yet. I want to see a little more from them. Tough loss against Minnesota, and they did win the 2K Classic at the Garden. And it'll be good, I think, for sure, bringing back a lot of seniors. And they got young guys also ready to contribute there, but we'll dive into them a little more in part 2. So that's it for part 1. Alright, thanks for listening.